Good morning, Internet. Yashoda here with West Coast Yoga. Welcome to our third video in the Zonal Acarya series. In our last video, we discussed the May 28th conversation, as well as the Topanga Canyon transcript. Today, we will be analyzing the famous July 9th letter, which was personally written by Srila Prabhupada 4 months before his disappearance, and which sets the standard for future ISKCON initiations. Before we get into the semantics of the letter, let's put things into their proper context. By 1977, Srila Prabhupada had accomplished his mission of spreading Krishna consciousness in the Western world. Prabhupada published over 60 volumes of authoritative knowledge, opened over 100 temples, restaurants, and farm communities, initiated 5,000 disciples, established the Bhaktivedanta Institute for scientific presentations, given the blueprints for the Temple of Vedic Planetarium, established the MVT, Mayapur Vrindavan Trust, which allocated funds to develop Lord Krishna's places of pilgrimage, among many other accomplishments. Now, Srila Prabhupada's focus turned to the continuity of his movement. Could the GBC be entrusted with the responsibility of not only managing the movement and its many centers, but also in supervising initiation moving forward, particularly at a time when he, Srila Prabhupada, was no longer on the planet? It was with these concerns that Prabhupada put into writing his clear directive for initiations in the future, so that there would be no discrepancy or misunderstanding. This is where things get interesting. Srila Prabhupada knew that he did not have much longer on planet Earth. By establishing a new system of initiation, one that included Ritvik representatives, Prabhupada was introducing a whole new paradigm. Was it Prabhupada's intention that this new system only continue for 4 months, and then an entirely different system be put into practice? Just to clarify, we are talking about a Ritvik initiation system going into effect July 9th, 1977, and then within 6 to 8 months, a second potential system going into effect, completely different and distinct from the one Prabhupada had just introduced. Or did Srila Prabhupada intend for the Ritvik system to continue even after his physical departure from the planet? Everyone is going to have to make their own judgment on this issue. I am now going to read the July 9th letter, which was composed by Tamal Krishna Goswami under Prabhupada's direct supervision, and which Prabhupada signed before it was circulated throughout the movement. The letter reads as follows. Quote, July 9th, 1977, Vrindavan. To all GBC and temple presidents, dear Maharajas and Prabhus, please accept my humble obeisances at your feet. Recently, when all of the GBC members were with His Divine Grace in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada indicated that soon he would appoint some of his senior disciples to act as Ritvik representative of the Acharya for the purpose of performing initiations, both first initiation and second initiation. His Divine Grace has so far given a list of 11 disciples who will act in that capacity. His Holiness Kirtanananda Swami, His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami, His Holiness Hridayananda Goswami, His Holiness Bhavananda Goswami, His Holiness Hansaduta Swami, His Holiness Rameshvar Swami, His Holiness Harikesh Swami, His Grace Bhagavan Das Adhikari, His Grace Jayatirtha Das Adhikari. In the past, temple presidents have written to Srila Prabhupada recommending a particular devotee's initiation. Now that Srila Prabhupada has named these representatives, temple presidents may, henceforward, send recommendations for first and second initiation to whichever of these 11 representatives are nearest their temple. After considering the recommendation, these representatives may accept the devotee as an initiated disciple of Srila Prabhupada by giving a spiritual name, or in the case of second initiation, by chanting on the Gayatri thread, just as Srila Prabhupada has done. The newly initiated devotees are disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the above 11 senior devotees acting as his representative. After the temple president receives a letter from these representatives giving the spiritual name or the thread, he can perform the fire yajna in the temple, as was being done before. The name of a newly initiated disciple should be sent by the representative who has accepted him or her to Srila Prabhupada to be included in His Divine Grace's Initiated Disciples book. Hoping this finds you all well, your servant, Tamal Krishna Goswami, approved, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. End quote. Very interesting. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of ISKCON history. In our next video, we're going to investigate the life and death of one of the Zonal Acaryas' most tragic examples, Jayatirtha. I consider Jayatirtha the most tragic only because he was publicly decapitated by a samurai sword after hallucinating under the effects of LSD. As always, I'm Yashoda with West Coast Yoga.